Back now with the racehorses. Drebin made a break behind the gate with J.R. Plant the other day schooling. I told Dominic, pull his hobbles in a little bit, and tell the drivers, do not put him right on the gate. It's very simple. I want him timed into the gate and trotting with the gate as they go out of there. Sure, when you get him good, you can put his nose on the gate. But he's just starting to get his feet back under him now. And I know James is not going to be back next Friday, and I'm not going to be there. Whoever qualifies him, if you can't keep him off the gate, just don't go with him. It's pretty simple. You can be a little grabby. That's why he had a dog chain on last year, and that's what I expect him to wear next Friday. The horse will be just fine. He scored the last half in 57 seconds yesterday at Mohawk, so he should be ready to go. But as I told them, and I'll tell you the same thing, if he's not ready to go to the winner's circle, if he's not ready to trot in 54, do not put him in to go. Qualify him again if you have to. I already know the horse is fast enough. Get him there. So he's there. And he'll qualify at least once, if not twice, starting next Friday. Legal Scholar, I tipped him over leaving the gate the other day. It was my fault. What? I do suck sometimes, you're right. Justin Irvine is going to drive him this week. Just get a flat line on him and tell me what he is and he isn't. That's all I need to know. Tenacious Hanover will start. I told you to start training last week. We didn't. We'll start training him this week. I have no idea the prognosis on horse, but he's going to train on Wednesday, so we'll see how he trains. I know he's feeling pretty good in the stall, and he's eating very good. So his legs are good and cold. He looks sharp. He's feeling good. It's time to go. So that's exactly what Tenacious Hanover is going to do. Time is on my side. Races tonight in Dayton in about half an hour. But from post 8, what hope do we have? What he's 2-1 morning line. So I don't know. I hope Aaron goes there. I really hope Aaron Merriman shows up to drive him. If he does, then say what you want about the guy. That's some dedication. He has one drive in Dayton, and to drive 2 hours and 40 minutes from Northfield to Dayton to drive. Time is on my side. I appreciate it. And if he doesn't go drive him, I don't blame him. Winter Soldier is racing great right now. I love this horse. He is such a nice little horse to drive. You know, the scouting report on him I got from a few drivers was he was a bit of a mongrel and pull and lug at the gate. He'd make the odd break. He was hot. None of the above. None of the above for Winter Soldier. I drive him every start now, and he is just an absolute sweetheart to drive. Just a little race car. I really like this horse. I would take a dozen more of them if you could find them. Agent Black. Curb is crowd now. He probably should train a slow mile on Wednesday. I'll see what Jason thinks of him. I just wanted to give him lots of time to get over his sickness and to get over that curb, and I think he's done both very, very well. So he'll be ready to go in the next 2 weeks, I think. Save America, I'm going to bring him over to Ohio, and then I'm going to ship him right to Dr. Brown's clinic, and he is going to be under his strict guidance and care. If you wouldn't mind taking him, he had the trotting filly for us for 5 weeks. That's how dedicated, for a guy that has as many clients and as much work to do as him, for him to say, yeah, I'll take your yearling filly on. I want to keep a close eye on her. I'll keep her at my farm for 5-6 weeks. That says a lot. Right? That means a lot, especially to a guy like me. You think about it. How many times you go, you see how busy the vets are everywhere all the time. A guy like Dr. Testa say, hey, I know you work 70 hours a week, but if you wouldn't mind taking care of my horse and giving me an update whenever you can, and then know that they have a personal touch put on it, it just means a lot. You just don't see a whole lot of that every day. So, I know that Dr. Testa has a vested interest in our barn and wants to see us do good and works hard coming in to see the horses. But it's a whole other thing to have a horse at home, at your home, to feed and look after, which is exactly what Dr. Brown did. So both vets I think very highly of, and I was very surprised that Dr. Brown did that. And I'm not shameful enough not to ask him to do it again, but I'm going to ask him if he can take Save America to his farm and just tell me what you think. Right? He's got a jogging track there. He knows the horse inside and out. He read the original x-rays on his fracture. He gave me a complete rundown of what he thought he'd like to see. And when things didn't go that way, he pivoted again and told me what he'd like to see. Well, I'm going to ask him. I'd like to know what you'd like to see by seeing him. Bring him to your farm if you wouldn't mind. That's what I would like to see from Save America and Dr. Brown. And I believe that's going to come to fruition in the next 14 days. Spitfire Overseas will be back racing at the Meadows next week. We'll have him shipped back up. greatest ending. Raced good the other day. I just asked way too much from him. It wasn't a great drive. 2 days of driving by me. I mean, a little bit of some high points, but I really put greatest ending in the grinder the other night, and he raced as good as he could do, and then tipped the other trotter over leaving. A couple little errors on my part. Looks like money was not an error. He raced good. I still can't believe that horse has 34 starts this year. We'll race him right to the start or middle of December, and then he'll have till the second week in January off. In fact, we have Jolene Hall to pick up in that time frame. I'll likely just ship him right to Kentucky to Haley's for 3-4 weeks and bring him out of Kentucky the second week of January again. A little less snow on the ground, a little more play time for the horses, so I think that's exactly what I'll do for Looks Like Money. Neptune, again, I might turn him out a little more tricky. He's a stud, so we'll see what we're going to do with Neptune. He's been threatened to be castrated a number of times. I actually like him. The horse has grown on me. I like driving him. He's actually a nice little horse. Not too many people can say, yeah, my horse won in 50-2 the other day on a 5/8. Sure, the Meadows is a fast track, but you still got to get there, and that's moving. And Neptune's not a joke. He's a decent horse, and I see how much he's grown and matured and been a better horse over the last year since we've had him. And I can't predict that he'll end up in the Open, but he is a high condition horse, and I think when we rest him and bring him back, he'll even be that much better, I believe. Anyway, Rock Shining Star will come back to Northfield next week and keep racing for us there. 3 Point Blue Chip, at some point Tom and I are going to have a discussion what he'd like to do with 3 Point Blue Chip. I can't imagine he continues to like to see him throw up small numbers on the financial side of things, or goose eggs, and hear me talk about him. He will win a race in the next, before the end of November, he'll win at least one race, but is that going to be enough to secure him a spot in the stable full-time going forward? I'm not really sure. Trosa, he'll be here for a little while. That horse there, we have so many paths with him. I could price him. They'll take him right away, as they should. We can price him in there. We can race him in the non-winners of 5 at Dayton, and that's what we're going to do before we throw him in with the condition horses, the non-winners of 5 or 6 in Northfield. Make no mistake, I have every belief that he would eviscerate the non-winners of 6 in Northfield, but I think racing him in the non-winners of 5 first at Dayton makes the most sense, and that is what I plan on doing with Trosa. Yo, Mister, I'm going to amend my prognosis with him. Dr. Latessa and I had a very long conversation about Yo, Mister the other day, and he said, Anthony, you know it, I know it. Something was going on in that right hind. It wasn't a high nail. It wasn't the shoeing. So why don't we do this? Rather than we hope that we can race him through it, why don't you give him 3 weeks in the stall and 3 weeks in the aqua treadmill, and we reassess. And the only way that we can reassess is with our eyes on the track. We can treat his hind ankles, and I think a little cortisone, a little acid in those hind ankles, rather than going to Noltrex, which I know that Stacy had used on him. Just a little acid and cortisone in his hind ankles. Let them cool down. 3 weeks in the stall. He's already been in the stall for 10 days. 3 weeks in the stall, some intermittent walking on the aqua treadmill, and then full aqua treadmill for 3 weeks. Maybe just put him in the bike, go a mile and 2.5 after that, a week later, and see how he feels, and then put him in to go. That would be my plan with him. Now, I know that's deviated from what I said the other day, but it was pretty rational and realistic and down-to-earth approach by Dr. Latessa when it came to what his thoughts were with respect to... It does nothing? With respect to Yo, Mister. It makes all the sense in the world. So that is actually the plan we are going to follow. Another probably 10 days in the stall, maybe a couple of days of those 10 days just walking on the aqua treadmill, and then we'll put him on the aqua treadmill for 3 weeks and then start him up and see how he looks. The concern is that, as I say very generically and very off the cuff many times to you, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, there was some smoke. There's been some smoke. And we want to make sure that there is no fire when it comes to Yo, Mister. There's nothing seriously found with him. That's the good news. The bad news is there was nothing seriously found with him. So I can't tell you with a definitive answer what is going on with him. I can just tell you we're going to treat him very lightly. We're going to keep a very close eye on him. And I suspect after a short period of time in the stall and on the aqua treadmill, any of those issues that were, any of those bone density or remodeling issues that we saw at the bottom of his cannon bone, those will have resolved themselves, and we can help him also shock those a little bit. As I said, I believe Dr. Tessa was planning on putting some acid cortisone in those hind ankles, shocking the lower part of those cannon bones. We can do that 2 or 3 times in that time off, and then I think what you're going to see is a horse come back very, very good. That would be my plan. I know when I trained him, he felt awesome. He didn't look awesome after I trained him, and I think he was just telling us, hey, something's going on here. So we're going to help him square that away. We'll have Yo Mister back for the winter. And again, it's not the same as, say, an older horse that we're looking to sell. He's 6 years old, so I'm not too worried about Yo Mister at this point. And that, the rest are all brood mares. Those are your race horses. I talked about your race horses, your 3-year-olds, your 2-year-olds. Gave you a very brief opening this week. Listen, guys, this week is all about the end of the baseball season for everybody on planet Earth that watches baseball. That's tonight. But for the most part, it's Harrisburg, right? We're going to be strictly in baby mode and overnight racing immediately after this week. This is the last big sale of the year. We can't wait for it. We know exactly what we want to do and how we want to achieve it. My job will be to get it done this week. So that's my plan. Thank you all for reaching out, giving me all your hips and thoughts on Harrisburg 2025. I'll be re-looking over all of those. If I haven't got back to you, as I said in an earlier email, resend the message. Be happy to open any dialogue you want with respect to what is going to take place in the next 96 to 120 some hours here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your weekend.